Well, at least now we can get the gold nail to Professor, whatever his name was, and get the shield built. What? Ah. Excuse me a minute. Right, anyway. Yeah, you go on the ship. Now, I love this ship because the music that plays in it is wonderful. There's just one problem, though. You never get to hear it because of all these stupid random battles that keep happening in the middle of the ocean. I swear, these battles crop up at about 1 every 5 seconds because, and I know the reason why, is because the ship moves twice as fast as you do when you're on land. So Tecmo just decided to keep the encounter rate the same as before. But you just keep fighting enemies constantly. So now then, we've got a specific part of our quest now where we have to go to all these special temples throughout the world. You might remember some of them. Remember earlier we fought that fire demon person and couldn't beat him in a temple? Well, that was Ray's temple. Now at this point in the game you can beat the fire person, and he gives you a special title of Banalet. If you remember earlier, Dan's father, before he died, told you that you must become Banalets. So this is the part of the game. There are temples for all 4 characters throughout the game world, and each character has to fight alone against a specific elemental force to become a Banalet. It's quite a clever idea. You've got to search quite hard for some of these places. Poor old Dan, though, doesn't get any. You'll find out over the course of the game that Dan doesn't seem to really get classed like much of an Aqutallion, for some reason. Wonderful music. Ugh! Battles. Use a special snow dungeon as well. Well, after the 4 of your characters, excluding Dan, who is a prosperous wise man and doesn't count for anything, you'll see this interesting cutscene where all the 4 forces you defeated turn into stars and fly up out of the building, out of that temple there for some reason, up through that. Recognise that background? It was from the start of the game. And suddenly you find our heroes getting pummeled by these stars in space! Well, not pummeled, I don't know what's getting done to them, but regardless, you see how Dan's stuck in the middle there, he doesn't get anything. That's not fair, is it? It's all because he's a prosperous wise man. And as we all know, prosperous wise men don't get anywhere in life. Only Aqutallions. Oh, I don't believe it. It's that animation again! This is going to be becoming a farce, Tecmo. But at least it's justified this time, because finally Aqutallion is born! Our party has successfully become Aqutallions, except Dan. Now this is yet another strange part of the game that Tecmo decided not to bother explaining to you. What are you supposed to do now? Well, you've got to sail around the world and find a couple of towns like this one. Where... oh, I'll go from the beginning. Alright. Okay, you've got to find 2 orbs, a red orb and a blue orb, to bring together to get a special mineral to help that rocket guy build a rocket to the upper continent. Don't bother asking questions, okay? The plot doesn't make sense anyway. Now then, yes, this person tells you to go to a pirate cave to get a golden statue back, some plot twist like that, to get, in order for him to give you a special orb. So we have to go to the pirate's cave. This is so boring I'm going to skip the whole thing. Let's just say we got the orb, okay? Now we get to sail away again in the music, and into... now this is a strange part. You sail over to this continent, and this is some kind of Tecmo attempt at an oriental place, because it turns out there's 2 feuding towns here. And as you can see, this town here has hired a samurai who is too powerful for the other town to defeat. And doesn't want you bothering his training. So let's go over to the other town. Now I'm not sure why Ray decides to take sides here, but he agrees to help this town beat the other town by getting rid of their samurai. You are soldiers? Do they look like soldiers to you? Oh, okay. This is Eden, and Onsaka is the evil town. I don't know what's so evil about it, just because they've hired a samurai. I'm not going to question the ethics behind this. Let's just progress the plot, okay? We've got to beat Swordman Jubai, second to none. Okay then. What? You are an Eden spy. Let's fight now! We are not an Eden spy, we are Eden spies, plural! Is it Costera? You gotta be kidding me! You know, Tecmo just seems to throw these Costeras at you out of nowhere. You don't actually expect when you're going to bump into one. Anyway, they join the Costeras. So guess what this guy gives you? When the red and blue meet, something great appears. It's hard to know what it meaning. Well, I think it's quite obvious what it means, actually. You've got a red orb, there's a blue orb somewhere. When red and blue meet, something mysterious happens. Of course it's obvious! But it's not obvious what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to this random little lake here in the middle of the world, in a completely random place, go to that green bit, and then use the items, and get straight to fight. A water demon. Not the Kraken. The Kraken! The most menacing of all water enemy things. The Kraken. How frightening it is. Yeah, you beat the Kraken. The screen shakes for some reason. Why does the screen keep shaking and exploding? I'd like to know. It doesn't mean anything here. You get the Tacosman. It's not really clear what the name means, but it doesn't matter. Let's just take it to this lab in Decatus, talk to this random scientist, who most players probably wouldn't have been able to find, actually. I'm being harsh. It's not so bad. It's not that hard to find things in this game. But it can be sometimes. Anyway, here's a nice little cutscene. Tecmo actually bothered to animate the rocket smoking up here. But could they have made the animation a little faster? Come on, rocket, get up in the sky quicker. I don't have all day to sit here and play this game, you know? Finally, up into the sky. What a surprise, it's that background again! Oh, that's a new background though. Now that's impressive, isn't it? That's the Earth from the sky. Not bad, eh? And here we are. Now you might ask, where are we landing? Well, I'll tell you where this is. It's the upper continent, or also known as the floating continent. Yes, it's hard to tell which one ripped off which, seeing as how they both came out around at the same time. Anyway, a rocket explodes. Not just any old rocket, pal, it's the rocket, the one we came in. Here's Dr. Ash, who lives in the upper continent. Now, it turns out he has a favour to ask of us. Booth, one of Homncruse's henchmen, is one of the four great followers, is living in a castle somewhere. This guy's wife and son were killed by him, but he decided to replace his wife and son with robots to make his daughter happy. Yeah, there's nothing strange about that, is there? Nothing weird at all, and that's perfectly normal. No, it's not. Now, the upper continent is a place of pure evil. Imagine the confusingness of the overworld, and make it twice as large, and with about 3 towns and 3 places of interest in the whole of it. And you've got to wander around this place for hours trying to find Booth's castle. It's nothing but grassy plains, forests, and sand deserts. I'm going to give Tecmo credit here. Booth's castle is quite an interesting dungeon. Well, I say interesting. There's multiple floors apparently on each. Well, there's 2 floors in each level, and you have to switch between the floors using these tile things. Sure, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but you know, you get to do something different. Yeah, we just walk through. What to say? I mean, come to think of it, one thing I never understood about RPGs is you got a big boss like this. Why do you have to walk through this complicated labyrinth of maze to get to him? Why doesn't he just teleport himself to the entrance of the place and greet you there? What's the point of all this? Because he can teleport himself. All bosses can teleport themselves. It's an established fact. Finally you come. But this place will only be your grave. That sounds familiar. There's a Booth. I didn't mention this in the Dram battle, but for the 4 great Homncruse's followers you get a special tune for them. Listen to it if you want. It's a good tune. Where'd the camera go? Oh no, I repositioned the camera. Honestly. Oh well, that's that.